This president, known for his mutton chop whiskers, oversaw the completion of the Transcontinental Railroad. A. Who was Ulysses S. Grant? B. Who was Rutherford B. Hayes? C. Who was Chester A. Arthur? D. Who was James A. Garfield? The correct answer is, who was Ulysses S. Grant? What was the name of the short-lived political party formed by James B. Weaver, advocating for farmers and laborers? A. What was the Populist Party? B. What was the Progressive Party? C. What was the Whig Party? D. What was the Know-Nothing Party? The correct answer is, what was the Populist Party? This president signed the Pendleton Civil Service Reform Act, aiming to reduce patronage in government. A. Who was Chester A. Arthur? B. Who was Grover Cleveland? C. Who was Benjamin Harrison? D. Who was Rutherford B. Hayes? The correct answer is, who was Chester A. Arthur? When did the Great Railroad Strike, a significant labor unrest during President Hayes's term, occur? A. When did it occur in 1877? B. When did it occur in 1887? C. When did it occur in 1897? D. When did it occur in 1867? The correct answer is, when did it occur in 1877? This president, known for his strong stance against monopolies, oversaw the Sherman Antitrust Act's passage. A. Who was Grover Cleveland? B. Who was Benjamin Harrison? C. Who was William McKinley? D. Who was Theodore Roosevelt? The correct answer is, who was Benjamin Harrison? What significant conservation effort did President Theodore Roosevelt initiate, establishing numerous national parks and monuments? A. What was the National Park Service? B. What was the establishment of numerous national parks and monuments? C. What was the Civilian Conservation Corps? D. What was the Antiquities Act? The correct answer is, what was the establishment of numerous national parks and monuments? Who was the only president to have served 2 non-consecutive terms? A. Who was Grover Cleveland? B. Who was Ulysses S. Grant? C. Who was Franklin D. Roosevelt? D. Who was Theodore Roosevelt? The correct answer is, who was Grover Cleveland? This president, a former Civil War general, initiated the redemption of the South after Reconstruction. A. Who was Rutherford B. Hayes? B. Who was James A. Garfield? C. Who was Ulysses S. Grant? D. Who was Chester A. Arthur? The correct answer is, who was Rutherford B. Hayes? What was the name of the scandal that involved Secretary of the Interior Albert Fall during President Harding's administration? A. What was the Teapot Dome scandal? B. What was the Watergate scandal? C. What was the Iran-Contra affair? D. What was the whiskey ring? The correct answer is, what was the Teapot Dome scandal? When did President Garfield die from an assassin's bullet wound? A. When did he die in 1881? B. When did he die in 1891? C. When did he die in 1871? D. When did he die in 1901? The correct answer is, when did he die in 1881? This president was the first to be assassinated while in office. A. Who was Abraham Lincoln? B. Who was James A. Garfield? C. Who was William McKinley? D. Who was John F. Kennedy? The correct answer is, who was Abraham Lincoln? This president was the first to be impeached. A. Who was Andrew Johnson? B. Who was Richard Nixon? C. Who was Bill Clinton? D. Who was Donald Trump? The correct answer is, who was Andrew Johnson? This president was the first to resign from office. A. Who was Richard Nixon? B. Who was Gerald Ford? C. Who was Jimmy Carter? D. Who was Ronald Reagan? The correct answer is, who was Richard Nixon? What was the first televised presidential debate? A. What was the 1960 Kennedy-Nixon debate? B. What was the 1976 Ford-Carter debate? C. What was the 1980 Reagan-Carter debate? D. What was the 2000 Bush-Gore debate? The correct answer is, what was the 1960 Kennedy-Nixon debate? This president was the first to be born in Hawaii. A. Who was Barack Obama? B. Who was Lyndon B. Johnson? C. Who was Richard Nixon? D. Who was Ronald Reagan? The correct answer is, who was Barack Obama? This president served the shortest term in office, dying only 31 days after his inauguration. A. Who was William Henry Harrison? B. Who was Zachary Taylor? C. Who was James A. Garfield? D. Who was Warren G. Harding? The correct answer is, who was William Henry Harrison? This president was the oldest person to be elected president. A. Who was Ronald Reagan? B. Who was Donald Trump? C. Who was Joe Biden? D. Who was William Henry Harrison? The correct answer is, who was Joe Biden? What was the first peacetime presidential election? A. What was the election of 1789? B. What was the election of 1800? C. What was the election of 1860? D. What was the election of 1796? The correct answer is, what was the election of 1789? This president was the first Catholic president. A. Who was John F. Kennedy? B. Who was Al Smith? C. Who was Joe Biden? D. Who was Barack Obama? The correct answer is, who was John F. Kennedy? When was the first presidential election held? A. When was 1789? B. When was 1792? C. When was 1796? D. When was 1800? The correct answer is, when was 1789? This president faced impeachment proceedings related to his handling of the removal of federal officials. A. Who was Andrew Johnson? B. Who was William Howard Taft? C. Who was Grover Cleveland? D. Who was Chester A. Arthur? The correct answer is, who was Andrew Johnson? What was the name of the scandal involving the alleged illegal sale of government lands in Florida during the Grant administration? A. What was the Credit Mobilier scandal? B. What was the whiskey ring? C. What was the Teapot Dome scandal? D. What was the Black Friday scandal? The correct answer is, what was the Black Friday scandal? This president's administration was marred by controversy surrounding his involvement in the Custom House ring scandal. A. Who was Ulysses S. Grant? B. Who was Rutherford B. Hayes? C. Who was James A. Garfield? D. Who was Chester A. Arthur? The correct answer is, who was Chester A. Arthur? When did the Star Route scandal, involving the fraudulent contracting of mail delivery routes, take place? A. When did it take place during the 1870s? B. When did it take place during the 1890s? C. When did it take place during the 1910s? D. When did it take place during the 1850s? The correct answer is, when did it take place during the 1870s? This president was accused of secretly marrying his mistress while in office. A. Who was Grover Cleveland? B. Who was Benjamin Harrison? C. Who was James Buchanan? D. Who was Millard Fillmore? The correct answer is, who was Grover Cleveland? What was the name of the scandal involving bribery and corruption within the Bureau of Indian Affairs during the Grant administration? A. What was the Credit Mobilier scandal? B. What was the whiskey ring? C. What was the Indian ring? D. What was the Teapot Dome scandal? The correct answer is, what was the Indian ring? This president faced criticism for his use of patronage and involvement in the spoils system. A. Who was Andrew Jackson? B. Who was James Monroe? C. Who was John Quincy Adams? D. Who was James K. Polk? The correct answer is, who was Andrew Jackson? When did the whiskey ring scandal, involving tax evasion in the whiskey industry, come to light? A. When did it come to light in the 1870s? B. When did it come to light in the 1890s? C. When did it come to light in the 1850s? D. When did it come to light in the 1920s? The correct answer is, when did it come to light in the 1870s? This president's administration was embroiled in controversy surrounding the handling of the Pullman strike. A. Who was Grover Cleveland? B. Who was Benjamin Harrison? C. Who was William McKinley? D. Who was Rutherford B. Hayes? The correct answer is, who was Grover Cleveland? What was the name of the scandal that involved the fraudulent sale of government bonds during the Grant administration? A. What was the Credit Mobilier scandal? B. What was the whiskey ring? C. What was the Teapot Dome scandal? D. What was the salary grab? The correct answer is, what was the Credit Mobilier scandal? This president, known as the Great Emancipator, famously enjoyed playing practical jokes. A. Who was Abraham Lincoln? B. Who was Ulysses S. Grant? C. Who was Andrew Johnson? D. Who was James Buchanan? The correct answer is, who was Abraham Lincoln? What was the nickname given to President John Tyler, referencing his unexpected rise to the presidency? A. What was Old Hickory? B. What was his accidency? C. What was the rail splitter? D. What was the little magician? The correct answer is, what was his accidency? This president, nicknamed Silent Cal, was known for his taciturn nature and strong belief in limited government. A. Who was Calvin Coolidge? B. Who was Herbert Hoover? C. Who was Warren G. Harding? D. Who was Woodrow Wilson? The correct answer is, who was Calvin Coolidge? Why was President James Garfield known for his incredible skill in calligraphy? A. Why was he a renowned artist? B. Why was he a skilled orator? C. Why did it contribute to his presidential campaign? D. Why was it a unique personal accomplishment? The correct answer is, why did it contribute to his presidential campaign? What was the nickname given to Chester A. Arthur, reflecting his transformation from a political boss to a reform-minded president? A. What was the rail splitter? B. What was the plumed knight? C. What was gentleman boss? D. What was old rough and ready? The correct answer is, what was gentleman boss? This president, known for his strong personality and controversial policies, was nicknamed the Napoleon of the Stump. A. Who was Andrew Jackson? B. Who was William Henry Harrison? C. Who was John Quincy Adams? D. Who was James K. Polk? The correct answer is, who was James K. Polk? Why was President Zachary Taylor known for his military background and simple lifestyle? A. Why was he a successful businessman? B. Why was he a celebrated diplomat? C. Why was he a renowned author? D. Why did these aspects shape his presidency? The correct answer is, why did these aspects shape his presidency? What was the unusual nickname given to President Millard Fillmore, referencing his height? A. What was the little magician? B. What was old rough and ready? C. What was the millboy of the slashes? D. What was the silver-tongued orator? The correct answer is, what was the millboy of the slashes? This president, known for his progressive ideals and youthful appearance, was sometimes called Young Hickory. A. Who was James Buchanan? B. Who was John Tyler? C. Who was Martin Van Buren? D. Who was James K. Polk? The correct answer is, who was James K. Polk? Why was President Franklin Pierce's presidency marred by personal tragedy? A. Why did he face strong political opposition? B. Why was he involved in a major scandal? C. Why did he experience significant family loss? D. Why did he resign from office? The correct answer is, why did he experience significant family loss? This president assumed office without being elected as either president or vice president following Nixon's resignation. A. Who was Gerald Ford? B. Who was Lyndon Johnson? C. Who was Harry Truman? D. Who was Calvin Coolidge? The correct answer is, who was Gerald Ford? This president was dubbed His Excellency after becoming president following William Henry Harrison's death. A. Who was John Tyler? B. Who was Millard Fillmore? C. Who was Andrew Johnson? D. Who was Chester Arthur? The correct answer is, who was John Tyler? What was the name of the constitutional crisis triggered by the disputed election of 1876? A. What was the Whiskey Rebellion? B. What was the Nullification Crisis? C. What was the Compromise of 1850? D. What was the Election of 1876 Crisis? The correct answer is, what was the Election of 1876 Crisis? How did the 25th Amendment to the Constitution address potential presidential disability? A. How did it establish a line of succession? B. How did it expand the power of the Supreme Court? C. How did it clarify presidential disability and succession procedures? D. How did it limit presidential terms? The correct answer is, how did it clarify presidential disability and succession procedures? Who was the president who faced impeachment proceedings related to the Watergate scandal? A. Who was Richard Nixon? B. Who was Andrew Johnson? C. Who was Bill Clinton? D. Who was Ulysses S. Grant? The correct answer is, who was Richard Nixon? What was the major constitutional issue debated during the 1800 presidential election between Jefferson and Adams? A. What was the issue of states' rights? B. What was the question of presidential term limits? C. What was the issue of the Electoral College's legitimacy? D. What was the dispute regarding the Louisiana Purchase? The correct answer is, what was the issue of the Electoral College's legitimacy? Who was the vice president who unexpectedly became president following the assassination of James A. Garfield? A. Who was Chester A. Arthur? B. Who was Theodore Roosevelt? C. Who was Calvin Coolidge? D. Who was John Tyler? The correct answer is, who was Chester A. Arthur? What significant constitutional challenge arose from the Fugitive Slave Act of 1850? A. What was the challenge to states' rights? B. What was the challenge to federal authority over slavery? C. What was the challenge to individual liberty and due process? D. All of the above. The correct answer is, all of the above. How did the succession crisis of 1800 pave the way for future amendments to the Constitution? A. How did it lead to the 12th Amendment? B. How did it lead to the 20th Amendment? C. How did it lead to the 25th Amendment? D. How did it lead to the 22nd Amendment? The correct answer is, how did it lead to the 12th Amendment? Who was the president whose health issues sparked debates about presidential disability in the 25th Amendment? A. Who was Woodrow Wilson? B. Who was Franklin D. Roosevelt? C. Who was Dwight D. Eisenhower? D. Who was Ronald Reagan? The correct answer is, who was Woodrow Wilson?